So hi, everybody. I am Tara.
And I am Matt. And it is a pleasure to be with you. We are so sorry again for that. Please don't hang up on us.
Oh my gosh, please. I hope you guys are still there. We're sorry to keep you waiting. Yeah. So if you're there, drop in chat. We want to know who you are too. So let us know where you're from and what your favorite sea monster is, because that is what we're talking about today. You are about to waste an hour just gabbing about sea monsters for the heck of it.
An hour of your life you'll never get back, but you'll love it.
But hopefully you will love it. We will love it. It will be a lot of fun.
Yes.
So I think we're going to get started with something. I
was going to just start with a quote from The Simpsons here, from the episode, if anyone saw, where Mr. Burns goes to hunt the Loch Ness Monster. He says to Homer, "I'm searching for something that man has been looking for since the dawn of time." Homer's response is, "A sober Irishman?" And he says, "Something even rarer, the Loch Ness Monster."
Which we're allowed to tell that joke because we're Irish, right?
Yes.
Wait.
I am.
You are? Okay, good. I'm like making sure. Hold on.
Everyone else is too. You know, we'll pretend it's St. Patrick's Day where you're an honorary Irish person. We had this
discussion in, hey, I am Irish. Thank you very much.
So we're fine. Apparently everybody is, right? So yeah.
Fully Irish. So yes. We are going to talk first about the Kraken, which I was excited to do some research about. So the Kraken, for those of you who don't know yet, is a huge sort of octopus or squid-like thing. And it's really powerful, and it could apparently pull ships down into the watery depths.
It's also the name of the newest NHL franchise in Seattle.
I just saw that recently, probably while I was Googling about this Kraken.
You know what? Good point. I'm sure that's probably one of the first results that came up. That's right.
I probably saw that then.
I know you're excited about that. Yes.
So the Kraken is also known as the Sea Mischief. And according to the Norse sagas, it dwells off the coast of Norway and Greenland and terrifies nearby sailors. It terrorizes them. The name originates from the Old Norse kraki.
Okay.
And in both Norwegian and Swedish, Kraken is the definite form of krak, which is a word that designates an unhealthy animal or something twisted.
Interesting.
So I am going to read you a poem.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
Poetry night.
Alfred Lord Tennyson wrote a poem entitled The Kraken, which I thought was actually pretty cool. So I'm going to read it to you guys.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Ready? I got to get my game face on.
Poetry slam.
Below the thunders of the upper deep, far, far beneath the abysmal sea, his ancient, dreamless, uninvaded sleep, the Kraken sleepeth. Faintest sunlights flee about his shadowy sides, above him swell huge sponges of millennial growth and height, and far away into the sickly light, from many a wondrous grot and secret cell, unnumbered and enormous polypi winnow with giant arms the slumbering green. There he hath lain for ages and will lie, battening upon huge sea worms in his sleep, until the latter fire shall heat the deep, then once again by man and angels to be seen, in roaring shall he rise, and on the surface die. Thank you very much.
That was
my
intense.
Snaps. Thank you, I know, isn't that a cool poem though? I thought it was really awesome.
It took some work to find. I never would have dug that up. That's pretty good.
And I had to be actory about it because
you were actory.
You know, it's the
word.
The background there. Got to do it. So this is here we get into kind of my favorite part.
Okay.
Pontypidian, whoever that was, noted that the Kraken has a strong and peculiar scent, which it can emit at certain times, and by means of which it beguiles and draws other fish to come in heaps about it.
So he stinks?
So he stinks. And appropriately, so what he does is he uses the fish that it has devoured to lure even more fish by using its poop as a lure.
Poop lure?
Yes.
Okay.
So Pontypridd claimed that a great many fishermen said that its evacuation colors the surface of the water, which appear quite thick and turbid. And this is a quote from him. Ready? This muddiness is said to be so very agreeable to the smell and taste of other fishes, or to both, that they gather together from all parts to it and keep for that purpose directly over the kraken. He then opens his arms or horns and seizes and swallows his welcome guest and converts them after due time by digestion into a bait for other fish of the same kind.
Okay, that was a lot.
So he literally fishes with poo.
Okay. I mean, bait is pretty much nasty stuff, dead stuff anyway. So why not just some crap?
Sure. So what I was reading said that this is actually kind of a clue to real life inspirations for it, which might actually be a giant squid and its ink.
Okay. Interesting.
So because they can be like up to 43 feet long.
Yes.
Which is longer than a small ship.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it would be totally capable of, blasting a bunch of ink that would maybe they would think was poop.
This is very possible.
So there is my story of the kraken.
Okay. I see that you've done your work on it. I'm impressed. That's very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think it's your turn, and I believe you have a special treat for us.
Well, I have something for you guys. I don't know if it's special, but people just don't get enough PowerPoint these days at work, so I figure death by PowerPoint is what I'm going to do to everyone now. But you know what? You're going to like it. I guarantee you. Because I'm really going more towards lake monsters here, to be honest with you. That's really more of my forte, if you will.
Sea monster, lake monster, it works.
Yeah, so this will be quick. I won't kill you, and I swear you'll enjoy it. So, of course, our beautiful logo, which is just mesmerizing, really.
Lovely.
So here we go. Loch Ness, right? We're in Scotland. Here's a map of it. This is like the northern part of it. You see the arrow. Edinburgh's down south, of course. It's not the biggest lake in the world. I forget how long. It's a couple miles long. Picturesque Urquhart Bay, Urquhart Castle, where you could have a great lunch or spot the Loch Ness Monster if you wanted to, I suppose. I think they have had a lot of sightings there. So here's the famous surgeon's photo, right? 1934, some doctor took it. It's like the most famous Nessie photo ever taken.
And so I heard a theory that might actually have been that.
Well, I'll tell you what it actually is, but yeah.
That it might have been a whale's penis.
Okay.
But is there a whale in the Loch Ness?
So what it is, at least what the public has been told, it finally came out that it was a hoax. And this guy and his kid made like a dummy neck, and they made a floaty, and they put it in the water, and they took the picture. They staged the whole thing. This is not real. We found this out much later, but this is the most famous photo of it. As far as whale reproductive organ, I can't confirm that. Here's another long one from famous one. There's a little caption underneath it: interval swimming, blah, blah, considerable time. That's an older one. All these are old pictures, right? Here's the humps.
Right.
Here's one that's a recent one, which I think is like, to me, totally fake. I don't really think how that's possibly real right there.
That looks like a really big just fish.
Yes. And it looks very much probably fake. I'm not buying that. This is Adrian Shine. He is like the Loch Ness Monster man. Like, he knows everything. He's the guy you see in all the documentaries. He runs like the Loch Ness Monster Museum. He's like 100,000 years old, but he's awesome. Okay. lochness.co.uk. Put that in your browser. It is a website for this, and it has a webcam. And this is a screenshot of it. You can look at Loch Ness all day long if you want to. And you might see them on. I think people have said they've seen sightings from the cam. So you can look at other stuff. It's got the live shot, obviously, which is a very cool thing.
See, but I feel like it wouldn't be very high resolution.
No, it's
so
not.
How would you know if you saw it, or if you saw a tree branch?
Right. Well, people get carried away and they think they're going to, when you want to see something, your imagination tells you.
Right.
So we've moved to the United States. So we're in Lake Champlain on the border of Vermont and New York. I've personally been there when I was a young man. You see on the bottom there is in relation to where it is in the United States. That is the home of Champ. This is the photo taken by a woman named Sandra Massey in 1977. She was on the Vermont side of the lake sometime in the summer. This is the photo she grabbed, which you can see a neck coming out and part of a body, right?
Okay, so this is it's very grainy and everything.
It's not great
and pixelated, but this looks more real, possibly realistic to me than the Loch Ness ones.
So one of the big theories is that it's just a log that popped up. I've always been confused because it has the arm piece, but it almost to your left of the photo, it looks like a head. It almost looks like it's an animal putting its arm up, like swimming or something, maybe. So that's what I've always found interesting. But this has not been like debunked, and she swears everything holy that this is real. She did not. This is not a forgery, she says. They've never been able to decide if it's right or wrong. But anyway, here's another random shot, which is I thought it was funny because people had written a whole bunch of stuff all over it. Protruding knobs on back. Here's one.
You see it all the time with these knobs, right? With these bumps. So is it supposed to be like a big undulating snake or like a camel under there? Like a sea camel?
The two thoughts and the two schools of thought are that it's some sort of snake or it's like a plesiosaur, like a prehistoric plesiosaur. That's what everyone thinks. That's kind of my theory. Here's one that someone took this recently. I can't answer this or really explain much about it. Some guy took it from his boat. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if he photoshopped it. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. But that's a recent one. Here's a cool site. That kind
of looks like a manatee.
Exactly. Here's a cool site, officialchampsearch.webs.com. This woman named Katie Elizabeth runs this champ. She like devotes her life to this champ search. She like spends her whole life looking for champ, and she has a website for it. Look up a show called Small Town Monsters. They do shows about the unknown, and they did like a 3-part documentary on champ. It's really cool. I would check it out.
All right, guys, what do you think so far? Loch Ness, champ, are these real? Do you think that these pictures are real or believable at all?
Well, that was the whole reason
Let us know. Drop it in the chat and let us know.
That was the whole reason I came to this event. They're real. If I had known that, I wouldn't be on this call.
I wouldn't be here.
We moved to Canada and Lake Okanagan. You can see the relation. It's not that far from Seattle.
Okay.
Get your passport. That's the home of Ogopogo. And here is one that just kind of looks like a boat wake to me. I don't really buy that photo. This one's a little more interesting. Obviously, it's a whole bunch of humps in there, right?
See, now, what if that's more than one animal, though, that just like to be in a line?
It could be.
Like travel in a chain. No, but I kind of go for the whole, like, it's some ancient, like, dino era thing.
That's what it is, no doubt. So, yeah, I don't know a ton about Ogopogo, but it is definitely haunting. So now we've come home to the Chesapeake Bay, for those of us that live in the area, which, if you didn't know, is home to Chessie, the Chesapeake Bay Sea Monster. That's right. I don't have a lot of info, so not spoiler, but just full disclosure, I'm trying to make a Chessie documentary, and I'm in the works of doing some legwork early on with that. So if you'd like to be a part of it, or if you know anyone that has a sighting, please let us know, because I would love to have you involved.
Definitely email us at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com and let Matt know.
Boom, plug it. So here's the thing about Chessie is it kind of became like a monster, but it also kind of became a representation of trying to save the bay at the same time. Mm-hmm. It kind of intertwined in there. Here's like a coloring book they made for kids to kind of let it appeal to different people. This is from the 80s. Here is the one piece of footage that I have never seen. This guy named Bob Frew. He lives on Love Point, which is right on the water up on Kent Island. And on Memorial Day, 1980 something, he shot some video of a serpent or something swimming for like a good couple minutes in the water. I've never seen the video. I don't know if it's widely available. I've searched for it. I can't find it. But this is like they went to some lab to analyze it. This is a screenshot of it. And they said, after a bunch of analysis, they can't determine what it is, but they also don't know that. And I know why you're laughing, because I know exactly what you're going to say.
It took me a minute.
They didn't know what it was. And you can have your own opinion of it at this point.
Like sperm.
So we're going to move on to the end of it. We've lost our maturity at this point. We'll go back to it. So
did we have maturity to begin with?
No. But the thing was, they couldn't say that it wasn't real, and they couldn't say that it was. So I guess they weren't sure what it was. So anyway,
I'm assuming it was way larger than one. So
it was like, you
would not mistake it at that size for one. I'm sorry, my eyes are watering because I'm laughing.
No, it was like crazy. Yeah. It really was.
It took me a minute. I was listening to you and I was like all into it. And then I was like, wait a second. Wait, hold on.
Right.
That's a sperm. No. Oh my gosh.
Well, anyway, that was, So there's your three famous ones.
Well, so that was, I think you did 4. You did 4.
Did I do 4? I'm sorry.
Yeah, bonus. You did 4.
Okay, cool. Good.
So the next thing I'd like to talk about, I don't know if you've read a lot of Lovecraft.
Sadly, not enough.
Okay, so H.P. Lovecraft has a novella, The Shadow over Innsmouth, where he has these deep ones. And they're like, he also like hints at them in this earlier short story, Dagon, but they're really in Shadow over Innsmouth.
So Dagon is one I've heard of. Dagon, whatever. Sci-fi, back when they actually used to show scary movies when they were a good channel. They did one of their own movies or someone, and they made that movie. I never saw it, but I know it was a film, and it is about that story.
Yeah, so Shadow over Innsmouth has more about them. And basically they're a race of intelligent ocean-dwelling creatures that are like human-shaped, but they're fishy-like. And so they often mate with humans along the coast, and they create these hybrids. They are also said to serve, in his stories, the beings known as Father Dagon and Mother Hydra, as well as Cthulhu.
The many-headed Hydra, the monster that has like 8 heads, right, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't, I haven't read The Shadow of Innsmouth yet. I've read some Lovecraft, but not that one. So I don't know if that Hydra is the like same thing or not. His mother Hydra is the same thing, or if it's based on it or what.
Sure.
But I'm going to read you a description of them from The Shadow over Innsmouth that's pretty good.
Lay it on me.
All right. I think their predominant color was a grayish green, though they had white bellies. They were mostly shiny and slippery, but the ridges of their backs were scaly. Their forms vaguely suggested the anthropoid, while their heads were the heads of a fish, with prodigious bulging eyes that never closed. At the sides of their necks were palpitating gills, and their long paws were webbed. They hopped irregularly, sometimes on 2 legs and sometimes on 4. I was somehow glad that they had no more than 4 limbs. Their croaking, baying voices, clearly used for articulate speech, held all the dark shades of expression which their staring faces lacked. They were the blasphemous fish frogs of the nameless design, living and horrible.
Wow, you are quite literary on us today.
So I don't know. I that's where it took me. So, and they also, what they would do is the Shadow of Innsmouth deals with, they make a bargain between the deep ones and the humans. So the aquatic species gives them plentiful fishing and gold, this like weird gold jewelry that they've got. And in return, the land dwellers, they give them human sacrifices, and they say they'll mate humans with deep ones.
I love human sacrifices.
So the deep one hybrid offspring, they are born looking like a normal human being.
Okay.
But as they grow older, they eventually transform into a deep one, gaining immortality, which deep ones are immortal. But once the transformation is complete, they become immortal and they go and live with the deep ones.
So then I have a question, and maybe we'll get to it, but it just makes me think of it right now. Half human. Do we want to discuss mermaids? Do we consider mermaids sea monsters?
Mermaids was next on my list, and I don't know. Like, what do people think? Do you guys?
Well, I can tell you this much:
they're sea monsters.
Mermaids are not Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I can tell you that.
No,
they are mean and they eat people.
Well, they think they may have originated from the stories of the mythological creature, the siren.
Oh, okay.
And they were in the Odyssey, right? So they were from Greek mythology, and they were in the Odyssey. But at that time, they were depicted as half bird, half woman. But it kind of gradually shifted into being a woman fish hybrid. So there are definite mermaid depictions of them as sirens, right? Where they're calling in the sailors to drown them and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah, the mermaid, they don't talk about dingle hoppers and things like that, like Ariel does.
But the thing about mermaids that's kind of crazy, where I'm like, I don't really believe in mermaids, but I don't think I do. But the thing that's weird, okay, is that there are stories from Great Britain, Ireland, from Western and Eastern Europe, from Mesopotamia and the Eastern Mediterranean, from Byzantine and Ottoman Greece, Asia, Africa, all over the world, people have separately come up with these ideas about mermaids. about the same thing, these human fish hybrids.
Asia, lots of stories from Asia.
Yeah, everywhere. Like,
oh yeah. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Sea monsters are real, people. Let's not get twisted here. All right, they're real. At least I believe this to be true. So
there's just so many things down there that we can't even get to in the deep, dark depths of the ocean.
I was going to mention that. So I was going to say about, and I'll go back to Loch Ness is, look, it's like 850 feet deep. Okay. It's crazy dark because all the peat they got in there. Once you go in that water, you go more than 10 feet and it's like black. Like you cannot see in there. Yeah. They've scanned the lake with these sonar deep scan before. They've done all these sweeps. They haven't found anything. I'm not buying it. There's a cave somewhere. There's something in there. Here you go. You really want to go conspiracy and crazy? How about this theory? I watched this on a documentary once. There's a lot of quartz inside Loch Ness, right? Quartz is like a conductor, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening is they're enabling time travel. And I know I've lost everyone at this point. But so what you're seeing is the theory is you're actually, when you have a sighting of Nessie, you're traveling back in time to when it was actually real. You're into like a portal.
So I've heard that theory about ghosts.
Crazy.
I've actually heard that theory about ghosts, that you're often like, it's a window into a different time that you're seeing sometimes.
Yeah. So that's what it's doing.
Okay.
It's like that's too crazy off the charts for me. I just, you know what? It's like what did the X-Files, what is their tagline? I want to believe or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to believe this stuff is awesome. So I went to Lake Champlain when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 with my family. And I remember I was the young monster hunter. I took a stick and a piece of rope and an empty Dunkin' Donuts bag. And I sat on the side of the lake and I fished. I thought I was going to catch the monster. Now my attention span was probably 5 minutes long. And I think I gave up.
What was the bag for? Were you going to put the monster in the bag?
Couldn't tell you. I just figured I sat there for like 5-10 minutes, didn't catch anything. Gave up. But the fact is, I did give it a try. I did try to find a monster at the young age of 8 or 9. So I was at it at an early age. I have not been to Loch Ness. I do plan to go at some point. But the one thing I do want to mention is I want to believe in these things, but I also kind of don't want them to be. I don't want them to ever be found, quite frankly, because that'll kind of ruin it, right? You want to have the belief in it, but never actually find out. If they turn on the news on right now and they drug up a Nessie, that would suck, right? Because they'd probably take it in captivity, it would probably die, and that would ruin everything. Right. So I think in Scotland, though, like they've tried to get like Parliament or whatever they have, it's government or Parliament, to like make it a protected animal, even though they don't even know if it's real. But like they really, I mean, this is like
that seems smart though, because if you don't make it protected before you discover it, then everybody's definitely going to go and just like chop it up.
That's exactly right. Think about King Kong. What happened in King Kong, right? Monster goes crazy, kills a bunch of, so, and then, Chessie, the whole story with Chessie is it's about like the consumerism and the people moving in and how the bay was empty for all this time. And all these people came because they wanted to get away from the city, and consumerism and tourism and ecotourism, and then the bay getting destroyed. And like Chessie became this like symbolic piece of all those things at different times. And that's kind of what part of my documentary may become about. So
I think that's a little bit where more later movies have gone. Like,
well, what happens if you trash the place, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, like if you're like you're talking about like The Host, right? The Host, that is a sea monster that was created by toxic chemical dumping.
There you go.
So, and I feel like, I think Cloverfield, the monster came out of the ocean. It was from deep sea drilling. It was bothered by deep sea drilling. So like you see these movies more lately that are, I think, using it as an not an eco-terrorism thing, but
eco-horror?
Eco-horror. Yeah.
Sure. And wait, Creature from the Black Lagoon, right?
Creature from the Black Lagoon. One of the original sea monster movies.
What about Lake Placid?
I think that counts.
With the giant alligator and Betty White spewing profanity for an hour and a half?
I mean, if we're going to count
the movie's so bad.
Loch Ness Monster and like lake monsters, then that counts.
Okay.
So there's also like the Leviathan. I don't know if the Leviathan that counts though, because it's an infection and then the people die and they become the monster.
You know what? But it has to do with the deep, as the word is. So personally, I am utterly terrified. And
it's a mining company, so it might be that eco horror thing again.
I'm personally terrified of large bodies of water. Some people find a cruise to be a nice, relaxing thing to do. I find it to be sheer terror if I ever went on one.
Yep.
Because I don't know what's in there. I don't know what's in, and quite frankly, we as people, we don't know. We've only explored like 10% of the ocean or something like that, right? But it covers like what 60% or 70% of the world or something.
Yeah.
So, dude, and speaking of that, here's a fact, right? We are finding things, okay? The coelacanth, the coelacanth, the okapi.
Yeah.
We're finding things that were extinct for millions of years. We're finding them again. They're out there. I'm telling you, stuff is real.
I think some of them are really out there. I don't know about so the recent movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart.
I think I did hear about that.
That actually,
that's interesting.
Spoiler alert.
Isn't that what we do on the show?
Yeah. Do you know what show you're watching, guys?
Yeah,
there's going to be spoilers here.
You know this.
That actually features Deep Ones and Cthulhu.
Okay. So they're doing a little Lovecraft reference there.
Yeah, it's kind of, they end up sort of showing up there. So yeah, so that's the one movie that we've talked about where I think it really truly is a sea monster, like not something that was created by chemical dumping or was an infection that turned people into a monster or something like that. So
what about I didn't see it, and sadly, I'm kind of embarrassed I haven't, because Guillermo del Toro was great. But what about Shape of Water?
Water. He's a sea monster, I'd say. But he's not really a monster, and I think that's partially. I mean, I think that was partially like the misunderstood creature, because they're treating him like he's a monster, but he really does have
Notre Dame or something in a way.
He really does have emotions and feelings, and is a very sympathetic character in that.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, what about, is Jaws a sea monster?
Yes.
So Jaws is a shark, but it's a real animal.
Jaws, and don't forget, if you don't want to say he is, well, I believe it is, but think about the prehistoric version, the megalodon that preceded Jaws. They said that shark was like 80 feet
giant
long.
And he does seem to be a really giant shark.
So keep in mind,
he does seem to purposefully attack people.
Oh, he's gonna get you. He's gonna eat Quint. Oh, that's right.
But on purpose. Like he's chasing people.
Yes. Damn smart fish went under the boat. Right. So keep in mind though, this is funny. Sea monsters, I mean, they were real. Like, we're talking about plesiosaurs and megalodons. They did exist. They actually were sea monsters at one point in time. We think it's crazy now, but millions of years ago, those joints were just swimming through the water.
Oh, by the way, guys, quick little tidbit of news here. We will be talking about Jaws in just a few weeks on the podcast. So
Jaws is a good movie.
We will be doing Jaws very soon.
Okay, so let's talk real quick. I want to mention about what my thoughts are on what the Champ and Nessie are, but real quick, what about an actual sea monster, like a giant squid? That's a sea monster, right? That's a real sea monster.
I would think so. There's also, I think, the colossal squid, which is even bigger.
And they're rarely photographed. If you Google giant squid, you can find a great video from a couple of years ago. I don't know where this was. But it's
I watched it.
Yeah, it goes up to the camera and then it just disappears like that. And they think this thing was 30 feet long or something.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And they're not seen. They're real deep, I think, in the ocean.
They're so amazing.
But that is an actual real, no argument. That's a real sea monster.
That's a sea monster. I would say so. Okay, so wait, back to movies. We got one more.
Okay.
Godzilla.
No.
Comes out of the sea, huge reptilian thing.
Sorry, I'm not on board with you.
Okay, so why not?
Because he's a dinosaur and he's a monster, a dragon. He lives on land.
Okay, but you just said that Jaws is probably a dinosaur.
He came he was born out of the water, fine, but when else is he in the water? I haven't seen all of the Godzillas. I admit that. If I'm wrong, please tell me, but I'm not buying that. I don't know. I can't get on board with you on that one.
Maybe because he's not confined to the sea, you think?
Yes, I think that's a good explanation. I think.
Okay, but in that case, neither is the monster in Cloverfield, right? It just comes out of the sea.
Well, if you're going to say that, then I'm not going to agree with that one either. Then I don't think,
because doesn't it rages around the city? So okay,
anything that spends 75% of its life on land is not.
But I don't. Okay, but we don't know that they're spending 75% of their life on land. They might be in the ocean, underneath the ocean, living large, chilling with a cigar, watching some TV for like 90% of the time until they are called up by deep sea drilling or people who need help from Mothra.
What if you give birth to a baby in a whirlpool?
Right, but that baby is going to stay most of the time on land. I'm talking about like,
I know. I'm just
where is Godzilla? No, this is very serious, Matt. Where is Godzilla when he's not saving the world?
He doesn't sleep.
That's
he's a
the
monster.
key.
I don't think. Well, that's a great question.
Stays in the ocean when he's not saving the world, then I say he's a sea monster. If he comes out of the ocean and lives on land when he's not saving the world, then I say he's not a sea monster.
I think we're going to need some input from people on that one because, I mean, for my money, it's not a sea monster, but I'm willing to listen to anyone that wants to weigh in on that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let us know if you think that Godzilla is a sea monster or not. And, hey, what you think about any of these other monsters in these movies? Are they actually sea monsters?
There is a movie.
Or are they something else?
I may be off on this. It's a movie called The Bay. Have you heard of this?
Oh, it's
and it's set in the Chesapeake Bay, right?
Oh, but it's
like a mind control. It's not a monster movie, though, is it?
No, I don't think it's a monster movie.
Okay, forget it. We won't even bother with it then.
No.
All right, but just the title just made me like think about whatever. But okay, so I was gonna just talk about what my thoughts are, and the general consensus being that Chessie, Nessie, and Champ are plesiosaurs. Oh, I should have put a photo of a plesiosaur in my PowerPoint presentation.
You should have. Shame.
Sorry. Google plesiosaur. It's an ancient aquatic dinosaur, long neck, rounded body, flippers. That's what they think it is. Now, theories being that last ice age, when the ocean then shrank and then the land mass they got stuck inside there. All right. They procreated, whichever term you want to use. And they were able to have, offspring and whatever, and they live in there. People think there's tunnels that they can go through that lead to the ocean. Lake Champlain can go out to the St. Lawrence, which goes out to the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
I think there are some old pathways they still think may exist in Loch Ness that can go back out to the ocean.
And clearly Chesapeake Bay is attached to the ocean.
I mean, that's easy. Oh, here's the funny thing. There's a manatee I found out from my research that kept swimming up to the Chesapeake Bay like every year. And it went to Florida and they started tagging this thing. And they actually named him Chessie. This was a long time. I don't know if it happens. Animal.
Oh, wait, we've got a comment here. They're saying, I think they're talking about Godzilla, that he is not a sea monster. He's a lizard.
I love it. Thank you.
All right.
Very much.
Okay. I'll take it. I mean, he is reptilian as opposed to like actually.
That's a good description.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I'll take it. Yep. I'll take it.
Now, lizards can live in water, but I'm with that comment. I'm with you, listener. Thank you for that.
So then I'm going to say by that token, then neither is the alligator in Lake Placid because it's also
it's a terrible movie. I just wanted to mention it.
I haven't seen it, but I really should because isn't Betty White in it?
Not only is she in it, she has the most foul mouth you've ever seen.
Okay, now I have to see it.
Dropping F-bombs left and right. And if it wasn't bad enough, they made like 4 of them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I have to see the one that she's in at least. Okay. So I want to talk about one other kind of mythological creature and see if we think this counts as a sea monster. I think it probably does not, but I want to bring it up just to see. So Selkies or sea folk, right? They're from Norse and Celtic mythology.
I'm not too familiar with them.
So basically they can change from seal to human form by shedding their seal skin.
Okay.
And so a lot of the stories involve a land-dwelling man, seeing them like bathing or something, taking their seal skins off, falling in love with one, stealing its seal skin, and then hiding it away. And it has to follow him home and become his wife because it can't go back to the water without its seal skin.
Interesting.
And so they'll like stay for years and they'll have kids. And then one day the husband like leaves for home and accidentally leaves his key to the chest at home or something, and she gets it and she goes back. Okay. So those are the like stories. And a lot of old rural like Irish and Scottish legends say that children that are born with like webbed fingers and toes, or that have like scaly skin, which I think is an actual like condition of some sort, are the progeny of human and Selkie like relations.
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 I'm gonna have.
So I don't know. What do we think, guys? Do Selkies count? I'm not sure.
I would need to find more information.
Maybe they're more of just a sea mythological creature.
Yeah, a sea nymph.
a sea nymph. Well, there's undines too, right? In Greek mythology, there's the sea nymphs.
Sure.
With Poseidon and all that. Is maybe Poseidon's a sea monster.
Could be.
He's kind of like a mermaid, and he's got sea nymphs, and he's powerful and huge.
Yes, he is. This is true.
Well, I think he's huge.
So the interesting thing is, and people, here's the reality. Every lake in the world probably has someone telling a story. There's a monster in it, right? I mean, you name a lake, it probably has one. Like Flathead Lake in Montana apparently has one. And people, but the thing that gets me though is, and it's kind of like aliens. If they're not real, it's all made up. Why are so many people saying they see this? Not just like people that have had like 10 beers and they don't know where they're going, or they're stoned or something. Like legitimate, like doctors and like, airline pilots, like normal, whatever. Yeah. Like it's not just crazy people that see these things. Like everyone sees these things. So,
all right. So next we got to talk about aliens in the Bermuda Triangle at some point, then on one of our live streams, because that's where I get, but with those two, I get like so many people who seem otherwise completely logigical have said they've seen these things.
I'm not insulting someone. I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just, people who are just all walks of life.
Yeah. Everybody. No, that's what I'm saying. Like
right.
Everybody sees them. It's hard to completely not believe.
Right. And then, but you got to think about the stuff, like I was saying with Chessie, where it's like consumerism and eco, are you imagining it's because it comes with it? Do you want to, look, I'll tell you, the minute I get to Loch Ness, I'm going to look, want to see it. And if your mind wants it bad enough, you will see something, even if it's not there. Because your disposition, you're trained to see something because you want to see it so badly. That's just the human mind. That's just how it works.
Sure, confirmation bias. Yeah.
And you notice how with these Bigfoot sightings, especially, people always say, "Well, it was this big," and I had a photo, but I lost it. It's like, well, what? It's like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so let's see. H2O Baby 1978. Everyone else out there, let us know. Do you believe in sea monsters? Do you think people are actually seeing these things, that there's something real, whether they're a plesiosaurus or something else like that? Or do you think that this is just like confirmation bias? People want to see it and they're imagining it all.
So here's your logical explanations, right? As far as scientists and folks that debunk these, it's like the champ photo I showed. Mm-hmm. I've seen like a recreation, like a digital thing where it's a tree stump. And if you look at it right, it looks like that's probably what it is. Boat wakes.
Right.
That makes perfect sense. That's what probably a lot of these honestly are. There are logical explanations, but there are things that happen in the world that people cannot explain. I can't explain them. I can't tell you them, I know, but they're,
And I know with mermaids, they say that, they chalk them up to sightings of manatees or
I can see
or
that,
seals or what is dugongs. I think dugongs, they're like the cousin of a manatee.
So here
over in Asia.
Here is the most commonly mistaken, they believe, actual animal for these sightings, for like champ and stuff. Sturgeons. That's what they think they are, because they can get to be about 10, 15 feet long, and they're weird looking.
But but that's not big enough.
I know, but when your mind is racing and you see something and you don't know what it is, that's what people think, experts think.
Well, and maybe if they
see logical explanation.
Maybe if they see most of the sturgeon, but they think it's only part of the sea monster or lake monster in that case.
They're kind of scaly. They're prehistoric. They've been around forever. So that's what, if you watch any of these documentaries, at some point you'll see someone on that show bring up the topic of a sturgeon. I guarantee it.
I think at least some of these things we're going to find out are really ancient creatures.
I'm telling you, man.
That have just not been found and identified by modern humans yet.
And that's what
we're going to find out most of them.
And they're able to hide. They can hide. They know the body of water because they've been there forever. Look, can I explain how a monster, a creature's been around for millions of years? No, I can't explain that. But I'm not trying to explain that. I'm just saying if it's real. I don't know.
Right. Well, and it could be the I'll use the word again, the progeny of that first creature, you know, or they could have been something that lived in the ocean and got caught there. And like you were saying, like a couple got caught there and they had babies, and they even evolved to be a little bit different than what they were when they were out in the ocean.
And who knows, those things their lifespan might be hundreds of years, right? Who knows? I mean, so even if it was just 10 of them, I mean, you know, you think, do the math, whatever.
Parrots live for like 120 some years or something. Turtles live forever. Tortoises live for ages.
Right. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm giving you my thought on it. I think it's very exciting. I mean, I love to watch stuff like that. I think they try to make it like a scary thing. I don't know if it's necessarily scary. Some people have said they've seen these things on land. I don't know if I'm buying those stories. That seems kind of crazy to me. But anything's possible, I suppose.
I'd have to hear the stories and like see any pictures they thought they had to.
Now, one interesting thing too is that, especially with Loch Ness, they'll notice there's been sightings for centuries, but once they built the real roads that you know cover, you know, basically wrap around the lake, it's interesting. The sightings went up a lot more, you know what I mean? But that, you know, makes sense. You're able to be around it more often. So,
well, yeah, if there's more people there, then there's going to be more sightings.
Exactly. So whether they're real or not.
Although it's funny, you would maybe think it would go the other way, that they were like, when there was more people there, like it would be hidden more.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, more exposure is more exposure, I guess. So
yeah, true.
I don't know. But yeah, I think they're fascinating. I will definitely keep working on Chessie and see if would love to put a piece together for that. And I don't think anyone has sightings of it anymore. It's kind of died out. I don't think anyone really talks much about it. It's hard to find info on it. So, but it's still interesting. I'm curious as to what it would be.
Yeah, I like that they named the manatee Chessie, though. That's cute.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's sweet. That makes me happy. Especially because my family lives in Florida. So I go down there to Florida. So I feel like, and I see manatees when I'm down there sometimes, and I could be like, that might be Chessie. Who knows?
Exactly.
I might be hanging with Chessie down here.
Yep. Yeah. And they've done all these sweeps with all this sonar, and they've done all these, you know, tried to find the monster, and they find interesting things. They think they find, one team thought they found like a corpse, but it turned out to be logs or something. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind, that's the same thing again. You're so like wrapped up in it. You want to see something so badly that part of your mind tells you that is what it is, even though it's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, we're going to need a lot more science and a lot more getting to the bottoms of the oceans to, I think, uncover these mysteries.
Yeah. I mean, you know, one thing interesting, you know, I'm a huge Titanic fan. So one thing that's cool is an example of that stuff. You know, now they've explored the wreck for, 30 years now. They found a bunch of different species of fish that were down they didn't know about from exploring the wreck. Yeah.
Yeah. Just from there. And that's not even like that deep comparatively.
And you've seen these photos. There's some fish that live in the ocean that look crazy. I mean, they're like terrifying looking.
Oh my God. There's some nuts looking fish. Like,
yep. So you don't know what's down there. So to think that we know all that's in there is just that to me is, if you have no proof, I don't think you can't sit there and say without a doubt this doesn't exist. You can't do that.
And I think you're right. Like, I want to know about these things, but at the same time, I kind of want there to still be some mystery left in the world.
Exactly. Yep. I want it to be, if they get discovered, I want it to be after I'm long gone. I don't want it to happen in my lifetime. Because it would get ruined. It would totally get ruined. Science would destroy it.
Maybe I want them to discover some things, but not everything.
Right.
Leave us some mysteries.
Yeah. And there's a reason people believe this stuff. It's not, that's just, I don't know. It could be hard to explain sometimes, but I think that there is some truth to everything. There's a kernel of truth, they say, the kernel of truth in every story or whatever that line is, I guess. But people have been talking about it for thousands of years, at least not about millions of years, but thousands of years for sure.
Yeah.
Something in the water.
I don't know. I love it. I love all this stuff that we just don't know what it is yet. I love it. It's so exciting to me.
Here's the question. Knowing what you can do with the camera and the knowledge you have and the savvy you have with it, if you saw something, would you be able to quickly get your phone or your camera, whatever you had, and be able to like steadily and like snap a photo or a video? Because, you know, half the ones you see of these are out of focus or they're shaky. Because, I mean,
okay, if
understandably people are like freaking out because of what they're seeing. So it's hard to get control of yourself. But
if I was quick enough on the draw to get my camera app opened before the thing had already submerged again, then yes, I could hold it steady. My concern is that I would be like, I think I could, but my concern is that I would be like, crap, where's the app? Which page is it on? I can't get it. And then the thing would be gone.
Yep, exactly.
I think if I could get it open, I could probably just hold it there and be steady and good with that. But
because I think about that, I do think about that. What if I saw it? Would I be able? It's like a, you know, like a gunslinger. Can you get loaded and go quick enough?
Do you know how many times I miss adorable things my dogs do just because I can't get my phone app open, my camera app open quickly enough on my phone?
Go.
Like,
there you go. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I never get it open quickly enough. They're like up and down. I bet they're not just going to be like, hey, I'm just hanging out for a picture. Anybody want to take a shot? Like they're going to be like up and down and I'm going to miss it.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, you kind of need to be basically ready for it. Yeah. So I've always been curious about that is, would I be ready to grab an image? Would that work?
Well, so, you know, I love lake monsters like Nessie and everything because I did a film about them. So
I was there when we were being attacked by the lake monster.
Yeah, guys, I made a short film called The Lake and I had like these huge animatronic tentacles for the lake monster. It was fabulous.
Best shot in that movie, my personal favorite, was the drowning scene.
Yes.
And the GoPro on the boogie board. Or no. Was it, or was the shot from up top?
Well, we took the GoPro from underneath and we pulled the GoPro down into the water.
Dragged it down. So it was her POV of drowning. I loved that. That was great.
I was very proud of that shot.
That was my favorite. Sitting in a boat for like 4 hours. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. We spent so much time in that damn boat.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was really fun. But that lake was gross.
Yes.
Like the bottom of the lake, I guess because it's man-made, it was just all
what lake was that?
Lake Anna.
Was that Lake Anna? Yes, it was Lake Anna. That's right. Okay.
It's a man-made lake, so the bottom is not like the bottom's not like sandy, silty. It's like mucky.
Yeah. People love Lake Anna. That's a huge tourist spot. But yeah,
it's a beautiful lake, but the bottom is icky feeling. Blech, I didn't like it.
But see, that's a good point. That's what I'm saying. Like with Loch Ness, it's so dank and dirty and dark in there. Like you don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, you got to.
All right, so I think we've covered everything.
I think I've mentioned, I mean, all the ones I can think of. I think there's a few more, but I don't know a whole lot about other ones. There's a couple more in Canada that I'm not sure about. The Flathead Lake Monster.
I think there's a few lake monsters around.
Lake monsters are more of my thing. It's kind of my jam. So
it's kind of your jam. That's cool. I just checked out the sea monsters for us. So we got like both bodies of water. We're all covered. So guys, if you don't know where you can find us yet, we are the Scary Movie Project. We usually talk about horror movies more than we talk about just spooky crap. But
love spooky crap.
We wanted to do spooky crap for our live streams just because we both enjoy it and love talking about it, as well as talking about horror movies. So if you want to hear us talk about horror movies, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. Anywhere you are, pretty much, you can find us.
Everywhere.
The Scary Movie Project. You can find us also on Facebook and Instagram at The Scary Movie Project. And you can email us if you have comments about our live stream, about movies that we've reviewed, or if you have requests for movies you'd like us to review, you can email us at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. Ahoy!